Well, hello there, my friends. I think that this might be the last recording from How to Eat Fried Worms. I think that we might be able to finish this up tonight. So, well, really this afternoon, because it is the afternoon here when I am recording this. Hope that you are out enjoying your days and making sure you get fresh air and plenty of sunshine. Even on cloudy days, the sun is still out, just way up above those clouds. Chapter 30, the Peace Treaty. Seriously, if you could read that, I mean, I couldn't even read it. Backwards, it makes more sense than it does looking at it forward. Alan and Joe sat on the sofa. Tom and Billy on two straight chairs opposite them. Now, said Alan's father, what is this all about? The four boys all began talking at once, accusing, recounting, explaining. All right, said Alan's father after a while. That's enough. Now, we know it has to do something to do with this bet Alan and Billy made, but Mr. O'Hara and I aren't going to get involved in that. You're going to have to settle this amongst yourself. You four boys have been friends way too long to start fighting now, said Mr. O'Hara. You really hurt each other. I mean, look at yourselves. Your faces are bruised and absolutely muddy. Talk it over, work things out, and then you can shake and be friends again. Joe muttered under his breath, I can't be friends with those rats. We'll be out in the kitchen, said Alan's father, and when you've settled it, call us and we'll all go down to Friendly's for some ice cream, okay? I love Friendly's, by the way. If you've never been to a Friendly's on the East Coast, gotta go. Billy and Tom nodded, and the two fathers left the room. The boys gazed silently at each other, and after a while, Alan said, It wasn't us that scratched Tom. Billy did it. Another silence. Did you have stitches? Billy asked Alan. No. Did you? No. More silence. You tried to cheat, said Billy. But that wasn't cheating. We were just trying to trick you. Yeah, but before that, when you glued the two worms together, that was cheating. You would have cheated too if you'd been losing. Billy thought about it. Okay, but no more cheating. I've already eaten 13 worms. You know I can eat 2 more. Heck, if I buy George Cunningham Brothers mini bike, we can all use it, and, well, we're all going to have fun with it. Joe and Alan glanced at each other. Okay, said Joe. You win. He wins. Alan, yeah, but what's the use, said Joe. We've tried everything. I'm sick of it. You've done nothing else for almost 2 weeks. Alan scratched his eyebrow, glancing at Joe. Yeah, but... Joe stood up. Come on. At least we're going to get a milkshake out of this. 31. The letter. Billy lifted the worm out of the frying pan with the cooking tongs and curled it back and forth on his peanut butter sandwich. I might as well try something new. Joe's not going to give up. Alan might, but, Joe really, he's not going to. Tom was carving his initials in the leg of the kitchen table. Yeah, but it's not Joe's bet, so what does he care? Just the same, I bet he tries something. Billy sat down at the table, turning the sandwich this way and that, looking for the best spot to take the first bite. Emily came in from the dining room. You and Mom got a letter. Chewing, Billy opened it. From Dr. McGrath. Midnight on August 15th, 1973. To Mrs. John Forrester. Dear Mrs. Forrester, I have just made a distressing discovery. While leafing through a medical journal before going up to bed, I noticed an article entitled Poisons in the Home Garden, a subject which necessarily fascinates me. As I glanced through the article, a phrase caught my eye. Lumbricus terrestris, the common earthworm, I read on. Mrs. Forrester, let me assure you, first of all, there is no cause for undue alarm. However, you will, I am sure, be concerned to learn that especially in the months of July and August, parents must be aware of the common earthworm, some varieties of which are known to secrete a substance, Lumbricus coryphosis, which, though not malignant to the skin, is sometimes harmful if swallowed. Dr. A.C. Roosevelt of Hyde Park, New York, reports that 10% of the boys studied reported no ill effects at all, except for induced paralysis of the lower Fulmer region. 40% reported abdominal cramping, triple vision lasting from 2 to 3 years and impairing school performance, and extreme lassitude. Autopsy reports have not been yet received on the remaining 50%, and so no final conclusions can be drawn, but extreme caution is urged since the blackened and pimply faces of the subjects lead one to suspect the worst. Mrs. Forrester, as your friend and family physician, I would strongly recommend that your son William eat no more worms until I return on Thursday from New York City and can give him a thorough examination. Yours sincerely, Dr. McGrath. Chapter 32. Croak. His hand was trembling. Billy laid the peanut butter and fried worm sandwich down on the table. Do you think? Wow, whispered Tom, and the screen door banged. Billy's father came into the kitchen, his tie loosening, his jacket over his arm, and he laid his briefcase down on the table. It is just so hot out, he said. Billy staggered to the sink and feebly drew himself a glass of water. Tom and Emily watched him, awestruck. What's the matter? Asked Billy's father. Water dribbled down Billy's chin and onto his t-shirt as he drank, and his mind swam. Poison? Paralysis? Extreme lassitude? Tom, said Billy's father, what is going on? Tom pointed at the letter lying on the table. Billy's father read it, smiled, glanced at Billy, and getting an adult beverage out of the refrigerator, sat down at the table. Well, he said to Billy, so it fooled you, eh? Fooled me, croaked Billy. Chapter 33, the 14th worm. But how could Alan and Joe know all of those medical words, Mr. Forrester, said Tom. Lumbricus caropsius fulmar? Do you know what fulmar really means? Tom and Billy just shook their heads. It means a bird. A seabird, I think. Boy, said Billy, disgusted, and he sat back down at the table and picked up a sandwich. They could be arrested, Mr. Forrester, said Tom. Couldn't they be arrested for defrauding the mails? Couldn't they? Billy grinned and bit down on the peanut butter and fried worm sandwich. Chapter 34, the 15th. Standing on a rusty pail, Billy peered through a crack into the horse barn. Joe was wandering about, lashing at cobwebs with a stick, and Alan was slumped on a barrel, gnawing on his thumbnail. Billy ran around to the door. Hi. Alan didn't look up. Hi, said Joe. Billy glanced around suspiciously. Take it easy, said Joe. We concede it. Well, at least I do. He's still trying to think up something. He pointed at Alan with a stick. Well, where's Tom? He wouldn't eat his lunch, so his mom kept him inside the house. Billy leaned over the platter on the orange crate and smelled the steaming southern fried worm. He wanted to load it with red pepper, said Joe, but I wouldn't let him. Billy forked ketchup, mustard, piccalilli onto the platter and cut a piece of worm, dipped it in the glop, stuck it in his mouth, chewed nervously, swallowed, cut another piece. This worm tasted a lot better than usual, sort of like kidney beans. Southern fried kidney beans. Where'd you get this one? Down from the Bannermans. From the muck, yelled Alan. The muck? The gooey, slimy, stagnant muck? Yeah. You'll have to show me. This is the best one yet. Alan jumped up and kicked the barrel clattering into a stall. Joe shrugged at Billy, grinning. Billy held up the last bite. Ta-ra! And he swallowed it. Okay, let me look, said Alan. Come on. He peered into Billy's mouth. Oh, no. Come on, there's still some stuck between your teeth right there. So Billy began sucking noisily at his teeth. Okay? Alan's shoulders slumped. I'll get you the money tomorrow, he said. You know, I have to work Saturdays for 6 months to pay this back. And he began walking slowly to the door. Come in, Joe. Yeah, maybe your father won't act so bad if I'm there when you tell him. Alan stopped at the door. Tomorrow, he said without turning. 10 o'clock? He sounded as if he was going to cry. Yeah, sure, said Billy. Make it later if you want. Nah, it's not going to do any good putting it off. Come on, Joe. Left alone in the barn. Chapter 25. Left alone in the barn, Billy hugged himself. I won $50! He sat down on the crate and he was grinning from ear to ear. Heck, I knew I could do it. I was scared at first, waking everybody up in the middle of the night. And he burped. Beans. I should have made it 30 worms and $100. That stupid letter. Joe knew when he was licked, though. Jeez. Beans? He stood up. Why did that burp taste like beans? He'd had a hamburger for lunch and a glass of milk. Then the worm. Say, they couldn't have... He snatched up the platter, nothing left, just a few crumbs of cornmeal. Craning his neck, his eyes bugged out, straining. He burped. Beans. Again, beans. He burst out of that barn so fast, stumbling over the sill, yelling. And across the field, Joe and Alan turned. Alan started to run, and Joe grabbed his arm. It was a fake, panted Billy, coming up to them. You faked it. It wasn't a real worm. Real worm, said Joe. What are you talking about? You made a worm, yelled Billy, out of beans. Then tomorrow you were going to say I'd lost. I hadn't eaten 15 worms. The last one was a fake. Oh, geez, said Alan. Come on, will ya? He didn't do it while I was around, said Joe. You sure? What'd you have for lunch? Hamburger and milk. Yeah, but where'd you get the hamburger? I don't know. My mom bought it. What difference does that make? Yeah, well, a lot of hamburger you get from these days has stuff mixed in it. You know, like sausage meat, soybeans, breadcrumbs. So the butcher makes more money. Yeah, said Billy. But anyway, you come on back just to make sure. I'm going to eat another worm. Suit yourself. Eat 4 more. Come on, Alan. Let's go. Let's let him eat what he wants. Chapter 16. The 15th... Billy threw back his head, lowered the worm, and Alan charged around the door, leaping on Billy. Flung him to the ground, punching, yelling, grabbed him, jumped up, grabbed his feet, drug him bumpity-bump across the rough floor to the tool closet, bundled him inside and slammed the door and locked it. Silence. Water trickling into the trough outside, and Alan was panting. What are you going to do with him? Joe asked from the doorway. If he's in the closet, he can't eat the worm, can he? You're crazy, he began to yell. But then he knew his parents would hear him. Yeah? Alan's hair was mussed. His shirt tail was out. Yeah, said Joe, eyeing him. He will. He'll start to yell and his parents will hear him. Alan glanced wildly about and started towards the door and turned. Now, if we can put him down the cistern. The cistern? Joe wiped his mouth. Alan cut it out. It's only $50. Come on. Face it, you've lost. You can't put Billy down the cistern by himself. What if there's water in it? What if it's 15 feet deep? Well, we can lower him down with a rope. Bang, 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 bang. Billy was kicking that tool closet door. Let me out. Let me out. Help. He's cheating. Help. I want out. I want to get out. Help me. Help me. Bang, bang, bang. He chanted rhythmically, kicking the door with both feet in time with his chant. Alan ran across the barn and grabbed a hold of the beam, skidding to a stop. Began to kick aside the hay and trash which littered the planks over the old cistern. Bang, bang, bang. I want out. I want out. I want out. Come on, Alan yelled at Joe. Help me. We're all down in it the last year. How's it going to hurt him? Come on. It'll take work. I'll split it with you. Get some rope. Bang, bang. I want out. Chapter 17. Out of the frying pan and into the oven. On his knees, yanking at the planks, which covered the old cistern, thinking, I've got him. I've got him. I'm going to win. He's never... Alan felt a hand grip his shoulders, glanced up. What in the world is going on here? Mr. Forrester shouted down at him. Bang, bang, bang! I wanna... A confused babble of voices dying out suddenly. Now, said Mr. Forrester, Alan and Joe, home, scoot. Alan and Joe crowded out the door. I've won, crowed Billy. He danced towards the platter. Nothing can... Billy, to your room. But I've got to eat this worm, Dad. I've won. Billy, I told you to get to your room. Dad, Father pointed to his room. Dad, if I don't eat what's left, I'm going to lose and Alan will win. And it's just too... Now. The bet is over. You know what I've told you about the cistern. Now. Dad, I'm going to lose. I'll lose and Alan will... Then you will learn something. March. You mean I can't even eat that last little bite? How long could it take me? What could... Billy, now. Chapter 18. Billy kicked the bed. He'd won. All he had to do was eat 2 more bites. 2 measly bites. He kicked the wall. What had his father gotten so mad for? Alan started opening up the cistern, not him. Geez, he hadn't even let him explain. Twice he'd won, and then something had happened. And now he was going to lose. After all he'd gone through. Nightmares, fights, thinking he'd been poisoned, all for nothing. And he kicked the bed. Chapter 19. The United States Cavalry rides over the hilltop. Mrs. Forrester, said Tom, peering through the screen door. Do you think I can see Billy for a minute? He's up in his room being punished, Tom. He and Joe and Alan are very naughty this afternoon. Yeah, said Tom. No kidding. What'd they do? Chapter 40. The 15th Worm. Billy kicked the wall again. 2 minutes. What difference could 2 minutes have made? He leaned his forehead against the window pane, gazing out the backyard. That's what always happened. Tom's younger brother Pete appeared suddenly around the corner of the house, running, holding up a little yellow Easter basket, gesturing. The worm, Tom! Pete had brought him a worm, the 15th worm! Billy slammed up the window. Catch, yelled Pete. Hurry! Tom's talking to your mother! He heaved a brick with a string tied up to it to Billy, and Billy caught it, hauled the string up hand over hand. The basket came bobbing up the side of the house. Alan and Joe plunged out of the bushes. Billy snatched the tin out of the Easter basket, plucked out a large, huge, nasty, squirming nightcrawler. Mrs. Forrester! Mrs. Forrester! Alan and Joe shouted at the top of their lungs, dancing about on the lawn, waving their arms. Mrs. Forrester! Mrs. Forrester! Too late, yelled Billy. Throwing back his head, he dropped the squirming nightcrawler into his mouth, chewed and chewed. Tom and Mrs. Forrester appeared around the corner of the house. Too late, Billy yelled, still chewing. Too late. I win. He disappeared from the window. A door slammed inside the house. A trampling on the stairs, and he burst out the kitchen door, a flying leap off the back steps. He rolled, scrambled, yelling, I win, I win, I win! Grabbed Tom's hands, and they danced around and round and round, Pete cavorting beside them. Joe and Alan slunk off through the bushes, round and round and round. Billy's mother laughed and went into the kitchen, round and round and round, till they clapped on their backs in the grass. I win, gasped Billy to the blue, cloudless sky. I win. Chapter 41. Epilogue. Billy leaned the mini bike against a tree and started down the path through the woods. Tom and Joe were already sitting by a smoldering trash fire on the riverbank, opening up their lunch bags. Where's Alan? Is he at the store? Asked Billy, flopping down by Tom. Yeah, he's still got 2 weeks to go. What have you got for lunch? Asked Tom. Billy looked embarrassed. Worm and egg on rye. Heck, said Tom. Why can't you ever bring something like everybody else brings so you can trade? Billy frowned and he opened his lunch bag. I don't know. I just can't stop. I don't dare tell my mother. I even like the taste now. He scratched his head. Do you think there's something the doctors don't know? Do you think I could be the first person who's ever been hooked on worms? Friends, in the back of this book are a bunch of recipes for weird and wacky wormy recipes. One of them is called Worms and Dirt, and it's brownies, chocolate brownie mix, chocolate frosting, wafer cookies, and gummy worms. Another one is crunchy carrot worm salad. 3 carrots, 1 tablespoon of sunflower seeds, 1/2 cup of raisins, lettuce, cucumbers, tomatoes, and olives. You got to peel or shred the carrots into thin strips to make them look like they're worms. It's pretty awesome. Worm pizza. 1 English muffin, 6 tablespoons of tomato sauce, long strips of your favorite cheese like a string cheese. That is your worm. That actually sounds pretty delicious. Green bean casserole, all a worm. 20 packages of frozen green beans. 2 packages. A can of condensed mushroom soup, and onion rings. So good. Or this is an easy one, easy peasy. A box of green Jell-O and a package of gummy worms. The best. You guys, I hope that you enjoyed reading with me, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this book because it is one of my favorite books of all times. So I hope that you enjoyed, and I don't know what I'm gonna read for the next couple of weeks. I might have to find some short picture books to do some read alouds for you guys if you so desire to listen. I hope that you are well. Take care. Talk to you soon.